Wow, my fellow ladies and gentlemen. So,
A long beginning to
a
this.
little bit of a beginning to this. You know what the greatest thing about being a startup podcast is? Technical difficulties. Yes, dude, our XLR cables, there's so much white noise.
No one knows what XLR cables are.
It's
so
these
these
little
cables,
male to female things that go from the
from
the interface.
Stop.
This is what my understanding. It goes from the interface into el microphone, and for some reason, ours. I've had an issue. These are like Rockville ones, and
then he got
hissing sound.
a new like box for it to make it sound better, and it actually did work because one mic was way louder than the other, so that's why we weren't able to film together. And then he got a different box, so it made both of them sound just as good. But then luckily I said that we should play it back to listen to how it sounded like, and there was white noise and it was really quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So we fixed it after like 5 tries, a little bit of frustration.
Dude,
but
I
we
was
got it.
on the verge of just calling this quits because
on this episode, not on
no, never putting too much freaking time and effort into this to just be done. You know how many freaking nights I'm just like trying to follow people on Insta? No way am I done with it. Okay.
We need to say, like, I hope everyone had a good Christmas.
Yes, I hope everybody had a happy holidays. I talked to Sheridan and Ravi.
But you and I haven't made one in a little bit.
No, because UFC.
Yeah, UFC isn't starting up until
January 16th, baby. It's going to be fire. We got Leon, Rocky Edwards, and Calvin Kattar. Well, I'm pretty sure Holloway and Calvin Kattar are starting off the year. If you guys are UFC fans, you obviously know that. And then after that will be Connor. No, It's either Connor and Poirier, and then Hamza and Leon. I forget. I think Leon and Hamza come after that. Let me check. Yeah, no, that would make sense, right? Because because January 16th is the Kattar fight. I'm gonna look at the UFC calendar really fast. But so basically what we were gonna do today was I wanted to talk about.
I got him this shirt, everybody.
Oh,
isn't it sick?
Let's go. Okay, so we're gonna do an episode where I'm gonna probably have somebody on, and then we're going to talk about our kind of awards for the UFC this whole entire year, because it was absolutely phenomenal year for the UFC, despite all the other sporting organizations struggling heavily. Even now, I mean, it's not going to. Things are getting better, but still, I mean, you see like the Cleveland Browns, they're free. They had Donovan Peoples-Jones and Jarvis Landry out today because of COVID. So it's the NFL, it's tough, but at least with UFC, everybody's individual. You have teams, they're getting tested and everything's a lot safer. So it makes it obviously a lot easier. UFC is really unique in that aspect of sports.
For sure.
We just I wanted to do an episode of guys to look out for in 2021 because there are freaking so many. I made like a list of almost 80 people, but we'll go through them very quickly. And then fights that must
78 to be exact.
Yes, sir. And then fights that must freaking happen in 2021. Some of them are completely obvious, and I'll probably come up with a couple off the top of my head that will be interesting. And then also, what was the other?
You also did 2021 new champs.
Oh, the Newton guy. There's going to be some belts. There's going to be some moving around of the belts. I'm telling you.
And then you also said my favorite fights of 2020. But I think you can save that for a different episode.
No, we're going to do favorite fights. I'm not going to put them in any order. I just want to talk about some of the crazy bangers,
I thought you wanted to do that with...
Oh, my bad. I'm so dumb. Because the Chimaev Edwards fight, that's going to be on the Wednesday. They're going Kattar Holloway Saturday, Hamzat Leon Wednesday, Poirier McGregor 2 on Saturday. It's gonna be crazy fire, dude. I cannot wait. First of all, I was looking. So when I was making my list, I had guys like Zhalgas Zhumagulov, Nasrat Haqparast, Arman Sarukian, Shane Burgos. Some of those guys are on my 2021 watch list for guys that could just absolutely break out. And UFC 257 does not disappoint. Some of the fights are not official yet, but it's those guys that I just mentioned should be on that card, which is when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, because I followed Zhalgas Zhumagulov today and he posted a picture of somebody that tagged him in a photo. And I was like, is this the actual card? Because some of the guys that I mentioned that not a lot of people I feel like know about are going to be on this card. And I was like, oh my boy, this is crazy. I took a screenshot, but I have to look up. I think it's on some MMA site. I'm going to look up to UFC 257. 257.
Are you doing an episode like this though with your ankle kiss friend?
Yeah, but we're gonna do probably awards. Yeah, I want to talk about fights, like our actual fights of the year. I'm just talking about as a whole 2021, how fantastic it was.
2020?
How fantastic 2020 was. Yes. Okay. Sorry. My bad. Oh my gosh, dude. I'm completely struggling. I really wish my MacBook was connected to oh baby. So we've got it. I pulled it up right here. Oh my god. So Khalil Roundtree, freaking animal. He's gonna be fighting. I'm not sure this yet. Marcin Prachino. I don't know how to say his name. Sorry. And then Amir Albazi is supposed to be lined up to fight Zhalgas Zhumagulov, who was so impressive in his UFC debut against Howley and Paiva. I was super impressed. I thought Zhalgas won, but the judges didn't give it to him. And then also Otman Azaitar should be on that card fighting Matt Favola. And then Arman Tsarukyan versus Nasrat
I've literally not heard of any of these people.
I'm
sitting here like, wow.
Arman Tsarukyan, he is a star in the making. And Nasrat, he's fought some tough opponents, dude. And then Brad Tavares is on it. And Amanda Hebos, who kind of became a big-time star in 2020. And then Shane Burgos, who is fighting Hakeem Dawodu. Shane Burgos arguably had fight of the year with Josh Emmett, Jessica Eye versus Joanne Calderwood. Then Dan Hooker is going to be fighting Michael Chandler. Obviously, Dan Hooker is in fire fights every single time he's fighting because he fought Paul Felder, which is crazy action. And then he fought Dustin Poirier, who is probably, besides Joanna and Jacek, oh my God, there's actually so many fight of the year candidates. I'll talk about him later. But Dan Hooker and then Michael Chandler will obviously be making his UFC debut. This isn't official yet, but this to start off the year, it's going to be insane. And then obviously you've got Dustin the Diamond versus Conor McGregor. You've got motivated McGregor. So, I mean, it's going to be, I cannot wait. This is going to be absolutely massive for the UFC. I would not be surprised one bit if this is the best pay-per-view of the year. And just to start it off, like that'd be, I mean, there's going to be some crazy ones throughout the year, obviously, but just to kick it off with this is going to be mad because Conor and Dustin, I feel like last year when Conor fought in January, the Cerrone card was a little weak. And you can kind of get away with it being weak
because
it's Conor. Money. So everybody just buys it anyway. But the fact that you are blessing us with Arman Tsarukyan and Nasrat and Dan Hooker and Michael Chandler and you're putting like Amanda Hebos on here, it's gonna be fire, dude. And even Khalil Roundtree, he's so good. There's some big time names here. But I was so pumped to see that.
So much. You know so much.
No, dude, I do not know that much.
Like the way that you're speaking is like gibberish right now.
I'm sorry. The way that I'm speaking I'm speaking right now is the way Jonah talks to me
about NBA.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I'm sitting here like, wow.
I just find it so interesting.
No, it really is. And that's awesome that you
But so do you want to kind of let's get into some of the fights that should happen. Do you want to pull up the notes?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously there's some fights.
Here, you can look through it.
Okay. So I wrote down a bunch of my fights. So
it started.
Yeah, it's fine. It's chill.
Okay, so it's just been a long day of obviously technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So this has been starting and we've already been talking for the pod, but the video just started. But now we're hopping right into the notes, so it's okay.
Yes, sir. It's fine. It's chill. So dude, that's so funny. So our main, if you're just listening to this, our main we set up my camera or whatever and on my phone with a ring light. And that wasn't even recording, but it's chill because we've got the video because Austin can actually edit this video because I made it so you can kind of see us.
Oh,
so
cool.
he can just transfer this over.
Oh,
he
cool.
can just flop from that to that.
Okay.
So it's chill. I'm so happy I decided to have the video recording because it still looks good like this.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. But we're looking over there the whole time.
I know.
We're looking
it's just
at the
a day
camera.
of mishaps,
Hey,
obviously,
but I feel
today.
It's chill. It was fine. I'm not going to go back and redo that because that was
and it was good.
Once in a lifetime thing. Okay.
So we're hopping into Kel made a thing of notes that have.
But actually, I want to talk about last week. I really want to talk about the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Jeff Neal. So I was out of town and I didn't get to watch, but I did get to watch the Aldo fight against Chito Vera. Aldo is still high level, like so good. The strength level, the strength differential between him and Chito was very apparent. Every time Aldo kicked or checked the kick or punched, it was just so different compared to when Chito was hitting him. And then also I got to watch what was I believe it was the I made sure to watch Michelle Pereira versus Chaos Williams because I thought that fight was going to be fireworks. Michelle Pereira and Chaos Williams, I thought that was such a good fight because Chaos did way better than I thought he was going to do because in Michelle Pereira's fight against Salim Imadaev, he looked like a world beater. It looked like nobody can stop him, but Chaos did really well. And if it wasn't for Michelle Pereira finishing rounds really strong, it could the last two. I mean, Michelle did really well in the last round, but if Michelle Pereira didn't kind of take Chaos Williams back and try to get a decision, and try to get a submission in that second round, it was really close. There was tons of good fights.
That fight was really good.
I forgot that Marcin Tybura beat Greg Hardy, and that was a surprise to me. I talked about how Marcin was I'm pretty sure he was on a quiet 3-fight win streak coming into this fight.
Wait, was this the fight that you were gone for?
Yeah, I wasn't here.
Oh, okay.
I rewatched them. I don't think you've seen some of them.
Who was I thinking of that had a good fight? But yeah, Kel was gone and when this fight aired, so I never even actually got to see any of them.
But there are some really good fights, and Marlon Moraes looked good. He took Font down early, I want to say, but then got clipped, and Font managed to take that dub. And Rob Font looked really good. There were tons of good fights. I was kind of sad to miss it, but it is what it is. I had fun with Sheridan.
Yeah.
And Panny Kianzad's really good. But I'm going to have to go back and watch some of those. Oh, Dafon and Chukwe, my dad said.
I wouldn't mind watching them back with you either.
Yeah, we can. I watched the first 2 rounds of the Stephen Thompson fight. It was, after watching 2 rounds, I was in the car just driving with Sheridan. I'm like, I'd rather look at Christmas lights.
That's cute.
But yeah. But besides that,
our adventure with Christmas lights was so good.
We went to see Christmas lights and I fell asleep like that because
he fell asleep
in Kaiser.
It was just great. I don't know. We're from Oregon, so we went to see the lights, and they're free. And
In-N-Out first.
Yeah, we went to In-N-Out, which is a long line.
For some reason, when we first opened a couple years ago, it was so busy. I was like, okay, we're just going to wait and go because it's going to cool down eventually. But it doesn't.
No,
it ever cooled down.
And I don't know why, because it's really not that good. But but I do like it. But I don't know. It's not worth waiting that long of a line.
To be honest, I would rather have Burgerville.
Burgerville is really good.
I mean,
I don't know. It kind of depends on my mood because Burgerville is more like filling and good for you, or not good for you, but
expensive.
But it's not as bad for you. And then In-N-Out, it's kind of like a craving that you only get like once a year. That like you just have to go at least once. I was telling Kel that it's like that type of food that we can eat and then we won't want it for a while.
Yeah, bro, I'm so freaking happy I was recording on my computer. To catch that. I'm
happy I looked.
Happy. Yeah,
because I was like, I don't even know.
Now we're gonna be like a legit pod. You know what I'm saying? You know how they switch from camera to camera? It's like
different angles.
Angle 1, angle 2, angle 1, angle 2.
That's so true. People do that. But sorry, yeah, we've just had a long day, obviously, with technical difficulties.
Yeah, and you still have freaking work to go to.
Yeah, I have to work in a couple hours.
I'm very sorry. Very sorry.
But yeah, so moral of the story was the Christmas lights that we went to was not worth it. We waited in a long line.
It wasn't even a light show. It was just seeing
house it was lights. Awful. Kel, literally, I turn around and he's sleeping. And I'm like, do I even wake him up to see the lights? What was seeing for? I was like, I'll just let him
did you guys go through the lights?
We went through like halfway. So I went with our friend Abby. She was driving. So it was us two in the front. He was in the back. And he had just gotten back from seeing Sheridan. So he was tired. And so
I almost fell asleep at the wheel. If it wasn't for a candy cane.
Candy cane saved his life.
Saved my life. I almost, because I was driving and the little bumpy things on the side. I was like,
you kept hitting those, and those were what were waking you up.
Low key, it was dangerous. Should not.
That's terrifying. That's not good.
I was sucking on that candy cane. You better believe that.
But then I
had to hit my brakes, and then it poked my gum because I made a spear out of it. You know, you like.
Oh, you're so weird that you do that. That's so dangerous.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, so Kel fell asleep, and I turn around and he's sleeping. I'm like, I don't even care to wake him up because the lights weren't anything special. And so me and Abby were like, let's just leave because the line was so long. We were already annoyed that we waited in a long line in and out, and then the lights were awful. And so we didn't even get to see like a good Christmas light show this Christmas, unless you saw a good one in Reading, right? Was it good? The one that you went to with Sheridan?
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. We went to the one by the Sundial Bridge.
Oh,
in
cool.
That little arboretum there. It was really cool. Turtle Bay. It was cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he finessed his way in there.
Really?
Yeah, because we didn't have tickets.
Oh, that's sick.
Oh, nobody like that.
I guess
actually we did have tickets. Actually, we just forgot them in the car.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next.
So we're gonna talk about. First of all, I want to say the fights that are gonna happen at 2020. Okay, we got the welterweight division, dude. The welterweight division. So many fights, and I'm gonna try to break down how these exactly happen. I am going to do this off the top of my head.
I feel like we might even need to do a two-parter for this. Because this is going to be so much.
I'm just going to go. I'm not even going to go. I'm just going to list off I'm not going to talk about each guy individually after the 78.
Well, do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's going to be, this is quick. So, first of all, we've got, what needs to happen, it's lined up, already going to happen. Hamzat versus Leon Edwards. We need Leon Edwards to get a fight in. Yeah. Right?
Because he couldn't because of COVID, right?
Yes. He didn't fight all last year. He hasn't quite reached his prime yet, but he's in that area where he's so good and we can't miss out on watching Leon Edwards fight. And then secondly, we need to obviously watch Leon Rocky Edwards versus Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. Because Jorge, I will never forget, it was when Till fought Jorge, and then in the back George or whatever, how you said it interchangeably, whenever he was getting interviewed, and then he was getting interviewed, and then Leon walks by, mentions a date that he wants to fight Jorge, and then Jorge, I guess, found that disrespectful, walked up to him with his hands behind his back, and then throws a three-piece with the soda. And if Leon has this scar there, it's like always there. But it was just kind of a cheap move.
Did they get in trouble for that? Because
no, I don't think really anything happened. The only thing was they were going to make this fight, but then Dana was talking about how he doesn't want to make this fight because he doesn't want to make it so people do outrageous things to get a fight. You know what I mean? You don't want to reward people for doing terrible things.
He doesn't want.
But even though the story is there, and it's been 2 years, or been 2 years now, so that needs to happen, obviously. And then Masvidal, there's a theme here. We got Jorge Gamebred in here because best friend battle. Gamebred needs to fight Colby Chaos Covington. They were best friends. Obviously, you guys know the story.
And now they're not.
And now they are not buddies.
Dang.
And then obviously, after I talk about them, I'm gonna try to see how it would all work out. Either way, Gamebred, he's built himself to be such a megastar anyway that he can basically fight even if he loses, because he's that kind of scrapper, that he's always gonna bring heat and he's always gonna throw hands. And if the other person shows up, it's gonna be an exciting fight. So regardless of whether Masvidal loses his next bout, he's kind of that guy that always holds star power. It's like Nate Diaz. If Nate Diaz loses, you always know you're going to get a good fight with Nate Diaz. Like, he's going to show up. It's the same thing with Masvidal. True. It's not like a guy like Leon Edwards who doesn't talk a lot, but if he loses a fight, people are going to be like, okay, moving on to the next guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? But Masvidal is that big star where And even Conor, even if Conor loses, like Conor got choked out by Nate Diaz and people still love him. And then they have Nate Diaz, Conor too, and then everything's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then so we've got Holloway versus Volkanovski. So we have to have the trilogy between Holloway and Volkanovski. If Holloway gets past Kattar, there's no reason why Holloway needs to prove himself anymore and get another fight. Volkanovski has to take care of business, maybe defend his title once or twice, and then Holloway and Volk need to get back into that. Even though Volkanovski's won 2 of the 3 fights. Sure, he won the first fight. I'll give him that. But he lost the last 2 rounds for sure. And then Holloway easily won 3 rounds in that fight. If a betting company, bro, gives you a refund, you know that it was a little bit sketchy there. I forget who it was.
That's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I forget what it was. I forget who.
They gave people their money back?
Yeah.
Because it was so dumb.
The rightful 145-pound king needs to have that strap.
King.
Volkanovski is not the 145-pound king. Sure, they're really even, but Max Holloway is a savage, dude. I might be a little biased just because I love Max.
You do.
But he, even in the rounds that Volk won in that fight, sure, he did win rounds, but it wasn't competitive. It wasn't not competitive. Like Max was in. So basically, the rounds that Max won were more convincing than the ones Volkanovski won.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay. And then another fight that I really liked, especially watching Aldo in his last fight, is Aldo versus Dillashaw. What better way to welcome TJ Dillashaw back into the UFC than with a fight with Jose Aldo? I mean, that would be absolutely massive. And that can be a main event on its own. You don't need somebody else to be co-maining that card or whatever. Like, that's a big card. Because we got the Keegan Rio and then Dillashaw coming back is massive for the sport, especially in that bantamweight division that's already stacked. And then we've got Moreno versus Figueiredo too. That has to happen at some point because I don't want the Davison Figueiredo because Davison Figueiredo. It's the fight that we just watched that just happened between the flyweights. I hate that Davison.
Oh, because Moreno could have won that.
Yeah. I just hate the fact that Davison Figueiredo brought up the fact that he was in the hospital. Like that takes away from Brandon Moreno, and it's just
making like him seem that he could have gone way harder on him, and it would have been more of an easier.
Yeah,
win.
I just hate that. That has to happen again.
Yeah, no, for sure
it will. And then Colby Usman too. Okay, Colby brought up the same excuse. He had food poisoning the day before. Okay, whatever. But Colby versus Usman, that was a crazy fight. That's one of my favorite fights that has ever occurred in the UFC. It was just so much fun to watch those guys. And Colby's striking is underrated. I watched a video with Stephen Thompson ranking or giving his thoughts on the top 10. He kind of crapped on Colby Covington, and Colby Covington's boxing is not bad, and the volume he throws is legit. And he just is kind of in that Dylan Dennis boat where even though Colby Covington is way better than Dylan Dennis, but I think that he's way better than Dylan Dennis.
Will come for you.
But Colby Covington, he gets underrated just because he talks so much and he's so confident in his abilities. They're in that same boat where it's like people forget how good they actually are, obviously, because they talk, and they're so divisive. But I want to see Colby Covington and Usman too. And then we got to see Usman Burns because that's got to happen. Burns came out of nowhere when he knocked out Damian Maia and then he obliterates T Wood. That has to happen. And Usman is one of the most scariest welterweights I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, for sure.
Stipe versus Jones needs to happen. Obviously, all of these won't happen. These are the ones I want to.
Yeah.
Stipe.
But I feel like are a lot of people wanting the same things, right?
Stipe Johnny Bones needs to happen. Ngannou versus Jones needs to happen. Conor Habib 2 could happen. You never know because in my opinion, the Conor Poirier fight should be interim title. I think that would only be fair because it's the best 2 lightweights in my opinion. It goes like Gaethje and Hooker and Felder, all those guys, and then it's Poirier because Poirier beat Gaethje, and then in my opinion, Conor's better than Poirier. So it would only make sense to make it an interim bout. But I guess what's his face Habib is the rightful. He is the best. Khabib is the best, but after watching the Gaethje fight and looking back on everything, it just goes to show how good Conor is. Conor, I don't think, was in the best mindset. He wasn't training consistently, according to like John Kavanaugh.
I can't wait to see him
fight. So
if
they fight, if they fight, again, considering the fact that Conor went to the 4th round with Habib, it's wild. So, and even Ally Quinta, him going the full distance with Habib is crazy. And then I wrote Dylan Dennis and Jake Paul. That's got to happen.
I really want to see that.
They need to do that boxing match for sure. And then Leon versus Usman.
What about Jake Paul and Connor? You don't want to see that?
I don't think Connor will do that.
You don't think so?
No. I don't think he will.
I mean, it's so dumb of Jake, but.
I did a lot of obvious fights because there's other ones in the lower.
I'm surprised you don't have Sugar Sean on here.
I mean, the bantam. Yeah, I will watch Sugar Sean fight anybody, honestly.
Yeah.
But seeing him fight, moving up in competition, fighting a Cody Garbrandt or that'd be crazy. But looking at how Aldo and stuff fought, there's and so basically Cheeto kicked O'Malley's leg off, and then Aldo in a way dismantles Cheeto. So the level difference is kind of crazy there, right? So right. I sound like Greg from what's that one? Married at First Sight, right? So yeah.
The only reality TV you'd watch with me.
Facts. It's cash.
Kind of Married at First Sight's so interesting.
And then I have Michel Pereira versus Vicente Luque. I would be so down to fight. It'd be so sick. That's my only one that's kind of unique. I feel like it's only a matter of time before Michel Pereira is in the top 10, top 5 in top 5. That's crazy.
Did you mention Leon and Usman?
Yeah, Leon Usman. It's got to happen. In my opinion, Leon is going to be the champion by the end of 2021.
It's a good hypothesis.
Yes. And then Whitaker Adesanya, I think, should happen. I think Whitaker is a stud and he needs to fight. And also Adesanya Till. That's a great fight too. Obviously, all those aren't going to happen, but those are my fights that I need to see happen.
That's cool.
And then boys. I'll just read it off really fast. I wonder how long have we even been going for? Not that long.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, you want me to? This is in no particular order, okay?
Just flash them a glance at this. Like Kel spends all his time just.
I went through every single card, guys that impressed me, and even guys.
So awesome that you. Did that. So
fighters to watch: number uno, Merab Dvalishvili, the freaking Georgian. He's so good. He beat John Dodson in his last fight, and he's beat Gustavo Lopez. He's so good. The Georgian fighters are crazy.
Yeah.
And then speaking of Gustavo, look out for Gustavo Lopez. He's an absolute beast, dude. He looks so good.
A little plug for him.
Yeah, he looks so good in his last fight out. And then
it's so cool that he's been on the show.
Yeah, and he fought Merab on short notice and is an absolute stud because Merab is going to be fighting for a title one of these days. And Gustavo hung in there with him, scrambled, got to his feet. I mean, he did really well. And then Ilia Topuria, another Georgian who looks so good against Youssef Salal. Shane Burgos fought Josh Emmett. That's going to be, and then, so I've got Shane Burgos, Josh Emmett, Alexander Romanov. Could be a heavyweight champion in the future.
He's insane.
Michel Pereira is on my list. Frankie Edgar's on my list. Vicente Luque, Leon Edwards, Marvin Vittori, the Tibetan Eagle, Sue Midahari or whatever his name is. He's got a wicked left. And then Mackenzie Dern and Tisha Torres are some of the best women fighters I've watched this year. Yana Kunitskaya, dude. Freaking what's his name? Thiago Santos's, I want to say, girlfriend. She's so good. Rafael Fiziev, Cyril Gahn, Giga Chikadze, Tanner Boser, Bryce Mitchell, Sean Strickland, Bobby Green, Jonathan Martinez, Alexander Hernandez, Nathaniel Wood, who's striking so good, Casey Kenny, Magomed Ankalev, Jimmy Crute, Tom Aspinall, who also could be a heavyweight champion in the future, Kyler Phillips, who's so good, William Knight, who just freaking manhandles people, and Brandon Royval, Askar Askarov, who could be challenging for the flyweight title this upcoming year. David Dvorak, Brian Barberena is so much fun to watch. I think he only fought like once this year because he had stomach surgery or something, he had surgery on something. But he's so much fun. He always puts on a good show. Then Otman Azaitar is so good. Andre Muniz, Alexa Grasso got such good boxing, and then Alex Caceres, who's kind of low-key putting together a good he won 2 fights in 2020 and and he won one in 2019. So he's on a 3-fight win streak, and he does not want to be a gatekeeper, and he's still really young. And then Kai Kamaka, Maki Pitolo, Tyson Nam, got to give the love to the Hawaiians. All those guys are ballers.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin Tucker looks so good. Ali Al-Kaisi, he's so much fun to watch. Erwin Rivera, Andre Ewell, Nasrat Haqparast, Mark Jacasey. His fight with Rafael Fiziev was fire, dude.
You're such a nerd. What number are you on right now?
48. Now I'm on 49. Youssef Zalal.
Out of 78, ladies and gents.
Yeah. And then we got to watch Lando Venata and Bobby Green. Those fights are always great. But Lando Venata is so much fun to watch, dude. He's so awkward and weird, and he's so entertaining. Then Roman Dolidze, another Georgian in there. Arman Zarukian, who could be on UFC 257. Ricardo Ramos, dynamic striker. Lerone Murphy, Cody Stamen, Song Yadong, freaking stacked, dude. Cody Stamen and Song Yadong actually fought. Then Jack Shore.
Can I read half of them off
submission
to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where are we at?
I think we're on Makwan Amirkhani. He got lit up by Edson, but it's okay.
Okay, I'm going to read these off and see if I can pronounce them right. Okay, so now for 59, we have Miguel Baeza.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that's Carmel Thunder.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
And then Sajara Eubanks is great.
Whoa, I'm reading it. Come on, mate.
I'm sorry, man.
Okay. Kionzad.
Mm-hmm.
You like him?
Yeah.
And then
that's
Yams
a girl. That's
Hall.
Penny Kionzad.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then Yams Hall Hill.
It's Jamal Hill. You say Yams Hall Hill?
Yams Hall Hill?
It literally says like Jams Hall Hill, but that's Jamal Hill, the guy that just beat OSP over in St. Prue. That's literally gonna be in that's our post, dude. We just have our post right there. Oh my god, that was freaking hilarious, Bianca. Yams Hall
Hill?
Yeah, Jamal Hill is great. He surprised me in that
I'm so sorry.
He surprised the heck out of me.
Okay, Johnny Walker.
Oh yeah, freaking amazing. He's made improvements on the ground too, which makes him very dangerous for light heavyweight.
Marcin Tybura.
Yeah, just beat Greg Hardy. I think he's on a 4-fight win streak now.
Luis Pena. I can get that one.
Yeah, Luis Pena. I think he lost
his fight,
but he is such a good striker.
I remember him. Brandon Allen.
Yeah, love him. But he got touched up by Sean Strickland.
Yeah. Yan Kioxon Non.
Yan Jonan. Oh, she's so good. I don't even remember the last time she's lost. She's so good.
Oh, that was we watched her too recently, right?
Yeah.
Josh Kuliabo.
Oh, Josh Kulibao. Yeah, he's so good. He's a scrapper, dude. He might not look the most intimidating guy, but he's really good. He lost his fight with Jalen Turner, I think.
Jalen Turner is next on the list, number 69.
Yeah, I kind of went based on guys that kind of fought each other. Like I if they were next to each other, I just put them on the list next to each other. But he doesn't look too crazy intimidating, but he's a scrapper.
He's not very he's
a scrapper.
Like if you saw him on the street, you wouldn't know he
just looks like a Hawaiian guy or something.
Exactly.
But he's great.
Okay, and then Kai Kara France.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, Kai Kara France, great. K.S. Williams looked really good against
That's a
Michel
cool name.
Pereira. His name's
Williams?
like Kalen or something though.
Oh, that's just his nickname?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dan
Dynamite Ige. He's good. Devin Clark.
Jessica Andrade.
Oh, Jessica Andrade. Yes. I have to talk about her in a second.
Oh, but it's with an H? That's how she spells it?
I was just typing him, and it's hard to go back and spell check on notes.
Jessica.
And then Giselle Gazumagulov next.
Good thing you said that, because I would have been like, Omar Morales.
He throws heat-seeking missiles. You think he lost his last fight or something? But he's really good.
And then we've got Ronnie Barcelos.
Barcelos. He's so good. He's unbelievable.
And then Alan Jouban
and Cub Swanson. Two of the older guys that have kind of
clutched. Cub Swanson is last on the list.
Cub Swanson, they clutched up. They're older guys, but they clutched up.
Yeah,
dude.
Cub actually, not bad.
Who did Cub fight again? But he just fought, and he looked so good.
And he actually...
It was a good guy, too. It wasn't just like... Who did Cub Swanson just fight? I remember why he looked. Yeah,
we just watched.
It was that one Hispanic guy. Daniel Pineda.
Yes.
Yeah, because Daniel Pineda is jacked, but he got kind of gassed out.
I was like,
But Cub Swanson still looks so good. Same with Alan
looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do you want to do next?
We'll just talk about favorite fights.
Okay.
Really fast, and then and I want to give somebody who was my low key fight that sticks out to most me, sticks out most to me in my head.
Of the year?
There's so many, not my fighter of the year, but just somebody that I really liked watching.
That she was kind of like an underdog that came up throughout the year?
No, she's not really an underdog. I mean, but the performance that she had was crazy. I'll talk about that.
Oh, it's last. A girl. That's awesome. That's really surprising to me.
Well, it just is ingrained in my mind. Against that, she beat a really good fighter too. So cool. My favorite fights of the year. I'll start from the bottom. Kai Kara France versus Brandon Royval. Crazy. It didn't last very long because it was Kai Kara rocked him, and then I'm pretty sure Royval hit him with a spinning back elbow or something, and then clocked him. I thought Kai Kara had it, but then he ended up getting tapped, pretty sure. And then Overeem versus Sakai was a great fight because Overeem was kind of getting beat, and then he just used his experience, took it to the ground, and ended up beating Sakai. And then Michel Pereira versus Imadaev. Please go watch that fight, guys. If you have not seen it, it's the most entertaining fight ever. It's a little one-sided because Michel was so good, but Zaleem stuck in there and was really tough. Then Lando Venata versus Bobby King Green. Bobby fought 4 times or something this year and looked really good, made a lot of money. But he beat Lando Venata in this fight. And I'm pretty sure they fought before this. And Bobby also beat him, I'm pretty sure, or something. But this was a really fun fight. Lando Venata is always awesome. And then Jacasey versus Fiziev. Fiziev got out in front early, was winning this fight. But then Jacasey managed to start throwing haymakers, and it ended up being freaking awesome. Fiziev came out of nowhere for me. And then Volkanovski versus Max number 2 was great. It was so much fun to watch, especially seeing Max kind of take a new approach to his fighting methods, like not sparring. He had to do a lot of stuff over Zoom, and he still came in there and looked like a champion despite all of the COVID restrictions and stuff in Hawaii, which is awesome. And then Jourdain versus Fili was a great fight. Ige versus Barboza was a great fight. I thought Barboza got a little bit screwed, but I love Dan Ige, so I don't really care. And then Felder versus Hooker was one of Hooker's crazy fights this year. I thought Felder could have won that fight. And then also Mitchell versus Fili. That was crazy. Bryce Mitchell's a savage on the ground. Casey Kenny versus Nathaniel Wood. Oh, my baby. That was a good fight. The striking in that was crazy good. Nathaniel Wood's so technical. So much fun to watch. Casey Kenny's a brawler, dude. Jack Hermance versus Marvin Vettori was such a good fight.
I remember that one.
Such a good fight. Marvin drops Hermanson early. Looked like Hermanson's out of there, dude. But Hermanson grinds back and makes a fight out of it. But Vettori, I kind of questioned his cardio a little bit, but he just dug deep, and he's got that grinder mentality where he was just like, if I die, I don't care, dude. He's just crazy like that.
That is crazy.
He just dug deep and stuck it out, and he got the dub. And then RDA versus Felder. Felder steps in short notice for he steps in for Islam Makhachev again. And then RDA is he's a world champion, and Felder fought so well. Then Moreno versus Figueiredo. That fight speaks really for itself, dude.
I love that fight too.
Yeah. And then in my opinion, actually, I'm not even going to say it yet, but Hooker versus Poirier was one of the most exciting fights I've ever seen in my entire life. Pretty sure, I forget who it was. It was obviously there's only 2 guys in the fight. I forget who it was, but somebody, I think it was maybe Hooker, that landed 66 shots in the first round. It was wild. It was absolutely crazy.
Dang.
And then Burgos Emmett was absolutely freaking crazy. Burgos is so tough.
Do you think your top one, or out of all that list, which was your favorite?
I would have to go probably with Hooker and Dustin.
Really?
Yeah. Followed closely by the Hermanson Vettori fight.
Yeah, that one was good.
But the Burgos Emmett fight was freaking crazy. I want to go back and watch that. But I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
And also the Jacasey Fiziev, it's not quite on that level of crazy fight because it was Fiziev clearly won the fight, but the fact that Jacasey still made adjustments and was he didn't give up, which was awesome. And then lastly, last but not least, Jessica Andrade is so freaking good, dude. She lost to Rose Namajunas, but she managed to weather the storm and still make a fight out of it, even though Rose was touching her up early. And then Andrade comes back, goes up in weight, I want to say, and then fights Katlyn Chookagian and gets her out of there with a body shot. And it was just one of the most. Katlyn Chookagian's a stud, and Jessica Andrade just freaking obliterated her. And that's just one of the most. That's one of the performances that sticks out most to me in this 2020. Is Jessica Andrade is so freaking good. Like, yeah. And Tisha Torres, there's so many good women fighters out there. There's
So do you think she has performance of the year? Do they give out these legit
It's probably
awards?
going to go to like, I don't know. We can make some up.
But do they give, like, does UFC give these out?
They give out like fighter of the year and stuff.
Oh.
And fight of the year.
Who got it last year?
Jorge Masvidal got fighter of the year, I think, last year.
Oh, yeah.
I forget who fight of the year was.
That's so interesting. And then, like, do like the viewers vote, or who votes? Like, who
I'm not sure.
decides?
I think fans vote.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And probably higher ups in the UFC too. Yeah. But that's basically what I wanted to talk about. I feel like we covered a lot of crap.
Yeah.
But we're going to probably do an episode where we give some awards and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was kind of nerding out. I might have got some stuff wrong because I was going off the top of my brain and there's so much to remember. But I mean.
Dude, that's just so impressive. Like that you could think of all of these and like remember their fights.
Well, I had to go back and look at each card.
No, I know, but like even all of these that you wrote down and you had favorite fights that you can remember from this
Yana Kunitskaya. Oh, and also I wanted to mention that Jessica Andrade, she did all. So I'm going to read out to what she did in one round. Okay. So she landed 62 punches of 79 total. Like she threw 79 strikes and landed 62 of them, 28 of which were significant, 11 to the head, 11 to the body, 6 to the legs. And then she landed 2 of 3 takedowns, and she had like 2 minutes and 30 seconds of control. And this was all in the first round of the fight.
Dang.
Like, that's so impressive. She landed 62 total.
Can you show me her full profile?
Yeah. She kind of has that Justin Bieber kind of look. She doesn't.
Justin Bieber.
I don't know why she reminds me of Bieber, dude. But,
dang, yeah, she looks here. And what did I say? She's Brazilian.
Mm-hmm. But I want to say she's a straw weight usually, and then she moved up in weight and fought flyweight.
Dang, that's impressive.
Freaking amazing. She's amazing. But she lost a split decision to Rose before that in I think that was the Usman Masvidal card. But she's so good. She's so good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was so impressive to me just because she's 5'1" and Katlyn Chookagian is literally 5'9" and was on a tear.
That's a huge high difference.
Yeah, she had a crazy win against Antonina Shevchenko. And then she beat Cynthia Calvillo and looked so sharp. And Cynthia Calvillo was I thought she was going to blow her out of the water just based on that Andrade performance, but she came back. So, yeah.
That's impressive.
Andrade is great. But that basically wraps up everything. I'm sorry this video is going to look a little bit sketchy because but the video on our Zoom call doesn't look bad because of the new ring light.
Yeah, so, totally.
Let's go, baby.
So we might have a couple different angles.
Podcast all day.
But yeah, we had a technical difficulty today and we worked through it. So nucks on that. Being resilient, you know? All about what 2020 is about. This literally. Podcast is basically 2020 in a nutshell. Exactly. Today's episode.
Basically. But this was good. I just wanted to talk about my performers of the year.
And I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas.
And stay safe on New Year's.
And a happy New Year.
It was so funny when we were talking in our last video. I was like, we were thinking about making a podcast on New Year's Day or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, people usually don't do much on New Year's Day, I feel like. And then Ravi Patel was like, yeah, because they're all like obliterated from the night before.
Hungover and stuff. Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, that's kind of true.
I don't work. I work the day of New Year's, but not the night before. So I can like stay up at night and I don't work till like, I don't know. I might work the next morning, actually. I'm not sure. But let's do something fun.
Go to the cows, baby. All right, let's go. This was great. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Goodbye and have a good New Year. But we'll probably have another episode before.
You think? Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Bye, fellas. Thank you for listening and tuning in.